following Best of Bass Talk Live is brought to you by Lowrance. It's time for BTL.
Good afternoon, everybody. Mark Jeffries coming at you on a very chilly Tuesday here in Oklahoma. Drew the True Smith, Matt the Nature Boy Pangrack. This is Bass Talk Live, BTL, where we talk about bass fishing and anything else that we want to talk about. Drew, how you doing, man?
I'm good.
You didn't cause that wreck up there,
I did not. I did not.
I think that's the first time I've ever seen police cars in this neighborhood.
That's a good thing, I guess.
It is a good thing.
A little wreck right down from the corporate offices here at BTL, and had traffic backed up. Had to go around to come in the back way.
Ambulance, fire truck.
So,
jeez.
I think one of the national wide package deliverers was in a hurry and took out some old lady backing out of her driveway or something.
Not good.
Nope.
Not good. Nature Boy, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
All right, today, Tuesday version of BTL, we're going to have Boyd Duckett on. That was kind of a last-minute thing. I had no idea he was going to come on until I was talking to him this morning. Yeah, come on.
Come on in.
They had the big announcement yesterday, press release. Geico, we'll talk to him about that.
Yeah.
The tease, the video that kind of went viral yesterday on all the bass fishing websites.
And that's kind of cool.
So a lot of buzz about what's taking place on MLF. And right off the bat, we have to say happy birthday to one of our favorite viewers and listeners, talking about Matt from Kentucky. He is 27 today.
Wow. Congratulations, Matt.
It's it's an uneventful year if it's anything like mine.
27.
Yeah. 27. No insurance decrease, in the rate. No, it's just another. It's better than the alternative, though.
Yes.
Luckily, you're celebrating a birthday.
Better than 37.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or 47.
What
are you?
Wherever.
57.
I've done.
You're 37, Drew?
I'm just happy to be
You're
here.
47, Mark? And I'm 27.
That's not exactly right, but I'll go with it. I like it. So
You got the
That's
salt
not what
and
I
pepper
am.
beard working, and it looks
it's a lot more
awesome.
salt than
It looks awesome.
pepper.
Yeah, when are you going to shave that
No,
madness?
don't.
I don't know that I am.
Don't.
It's got a lot more salt than pepper in it.
Does your boss care? I mean, Jeff will let you.
No, I'm not in the boardroom meetings as
I'd grow
McGinnis
that
would
puppy
say.
out.
I might have to.
Huh.
And then I do
It's very, who was that? Kenny Rogers.
That's not what I was going for. So
You look like
What are
you're
you trying to go for?
I'm not going for
auditioning
anything.
for a Just for Men commercial.
yeah, I could do that. I could
Enough.
I need to get a close-up of that. I don't know if
enough
I can get a
brown
close-up.
to show that you're youthful and energetic, but enough gray to show that you're experienced, and then the hot
Hey,
secretary.
Manny, who are
takes
the
you in
two
back room.
guys that are hawking the get rid of the gray in your beard?
Emmett
Just
Smith,
for Men.
Yeah.
Emmett Smith's one of them.
Yeah.
Randy Johnson.
Randy Johnson is the other one.
How do I know this information about
That's right.
beard coloring?
Because you're a Metro.
And there's one other guy, too, Keith Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, Keith.
Yeah, he used to play for the Mets.
Yeah, I'd keep it
And-
natural. I would.
Now, I'm trying to think. There's a good sponsor to get involved with bass fishing.
Now, you've actually gone down that road a little bit, haven't you? With
Just
former
for Men.
Elite Series Pro.
Formerly, so we've talked to him. Yeah, it is a good. It is. That has been my contention for a long time. And again, I hark back to the 2005 Classic when we had the male products that specifically targeted our age group. As my letter to Jerry McGinnis at the beginning of this year was, we as a bass, as Joe Bass, represent a certain market type, and it's expanded now. You see a lot more younger guys involved, I think, than you did 10 years ago. But there is a certain defined market that we represent, and we do not see the Just for Men, the male, products.
We did one time.
Yeah, but that's who reads the magazines. That's
One and done.
If you want to talk about our membership and you want to talk about the magazine that goes out to BASS magazine, 500,000 people, they fall in between a group. And I know Jerry, in his infinite wisdom, is probably targeting some of these guys, but there are a ton of companies out there that just specialize
FLW gets
in product. They get it. I mean, in product. And I had a conversation just today talking about that, and you look at this
Because of your beard?
because of my beard. See, it's a
conversation starter.
But it gets around. But you look at this industry that we're in, the competitive, not just fishing, but the competitive fishing. And there are companies that make money off of it. Bass makes money. Bass Zone makes money. There are other organizations, other entities out there that make money off bass fishing. And then you get to the actual product, the pros, and not all of them make money off of it. It's kind of it's a weird dynamic that we have.
Jeffrey's told me we were a non-profit, and that's why
that's not true. I never said that.
That's why he couldn't pay me.
True.
Said it's illegal.
I totally agree with what you're saying but it's not just bass fishing. It's that way in other sports, individual sports, where they lose their tail because they dump too much money into it and they can't make it.
Well, I mean, bowling's
one of them. Golf is another one. You remember there was a story on 60 Minutes where the guy traveled with his dad, and his dad was his coach, and he was trying to make it on tour, and they were staying in worse places than what's his name was talking about. Ike and Ellie was talking about yesterday.
Yeah, but this was
they were eating sack lunches.
Yeah.
Tennis. And tennis is another one. Tennis
is a different dynamic. I mean, you have a certain window that you are competitive in, and if you don't start at the age of 6 months, if you don't have a 50-mile-an-hour serve at the age of 6 months, you're not going to be competitive in the tennis world. The golfing industry, you're talking about these sub-tours, and we had the guy on, I don't remember his name now, he may be listening now, the guy that used to be a golf pro, but you have these sub-tours that you have to go, and qualify if you don't get your cue card. But we had the guy, we showed that video, you showed that video and laughed at the guy taking, Day that took a 16 on a hole at a Texas Invitational. Remember that? He had made $7 million this year. So, I mean, some ungodly amount, and he was ranked 100th in the world.
Yeah, he gets paid $2 million just to wear the funny-looking pants.
Yeah, but, I mean, that's true. But he, his winnings and his earnings for being 100th in the world were in the millions. And I know it's a different sport. We can't.
I know. But he's living in the past, though. All that money that's being generated is based upon his performance in the past.
Well, I mean that's some of his wins. I mean his 2000 when we had him on, I looked up his winnings for the year to that date.
Stunk.
No, they were good. No, I mean he has won millions of dollars this year in golf.
Daily?
Not Daly. I'm talking about Jeff Day, the guy that we had on.
Jason Day.
Or Jason Day.
Oh, okay. I thought you were talking about John Daly.
No, John Daly. I'm sure his earnings for the year is still up there.
Pathetic.
But
where are we going? I'm lost.
My deal is that I think it's the product that's been put out there, the way that we use these guys. I'm just not sure. I mean, I don't know why it's so different, and this was just because it's fishing or whatever it is, but when everybody surrounding them are able to make a living off of them, and yet the turnover every year is so great because they can't. And so I don't know. I don't know that we can't compare it to anything else. It's just a different dynamic, but it's a different scenario. I mean, it's something that you kind of look at and go, when you start to break down, that's why I miss Niswanger so much, man. He spent hours breaking down the money that was spent in this sport, and I don't know what he's doing now, but
teaching school.
I wish he'd come back and
school teacher
and do that. Well, he
school teacher and swim coach.
Well, so
water polo.
But you're a proficient in the breaststroke, weren't you, Drew?
I'm very good at it. Still am. Still holds some records. Still holds some records. No, just the breaststroke. I just stuck with stroking the breast.
Wow. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to sit down this?
Swimmer,
I wish I had a chance. I was really busy running errands and doing things this morning to taking care of other business. I'd like to see the video that Bass has put out. Have you looked at it yet? Have you watched it? Anybody watch that?
They put a video out?
There's a video out? Steering the Bass boat this week on Live Well, Tommy Sanders sits down with Jerry McGinnis to talk about the future of bass.
Oh,
and I haven't had a chance to break it down yet, but I would.
I have not seen that.
And that's got to be.
It's funny too because of all the hell that he caught for going out and fishing.
We will.
The picture on the video is him holding a fish up in the front of the boat, not in front of a boardroom or anything. It's just funny because all the stuff, the flack he got for it. I'm not saying he shouldn't.
No, that's pretty funny though.
But it is funny that all the flack he caught for being on a bass boat and fishing and catching smallies. Then that's the that's the picture he chooses to put out there. So
we will dissect that interview.
Yeah.
And make that a topic line tomorrow.
Huh. We need to talk about that. He may be doing a late campaign for the Bass Man of the Year. Maybe this might be his final push.
It's going to be decided tomorrow.
Before the precincts close, yeah. So,
all right, folks, don't forget, send us your nominations on Facebook or Twitter of the Bass Fishing Man of the Year. Give us your votes.
I'm still looking for the field. I still think it's. I'm just not sure that.
I took exception to what you said yesterday. How you said it's been a mundane or boring year.
I was not the only one. I realized that you waited till Judici was out of earshot before you brought your exception to light, because we both agreed that it has been a very mundane year.
I think it's been one of the most exciting years in the past 5 years.
I totally disagree with that.
How could you not? You've got, you've got for the first time since '95 an angler goes classic, back-to-back classic and classic and AOI in the same year. Then you have MLF coming out, a brand new professional circuit. When was the last time we had that? I guess 4 years ago, the PAA series came out and they started doing the corporate cup, and then they came out with the PAA series 3 years ago. You've got that. Then you've got the first full year with Jerry at the helm.
Nothing exciting happened.
But I'm just saying, I think it's
nothing exciting happened. And again, we talked about that yesterday in my nomination when talking about the Bassman, is that I think Duckett and Klein, or however you want to describe the entity behind the MLF, is a possible candidate for the 2011 year. And Judici was quick to point out that it's not going to air until January or February. Even though it's taking place now, the public's really only now getting. We had a sneak preview yesterday. We're not going to see anything until 2012. So he disqualified that until next year. And then again, we're not taking away from what Van Dam's done, because he won Angler of the Year and Classic, like you said, in 1 year. And that, to me, that's really the only shining. There's been other things, this Alabama rig thing that's going on, but there's really, but as far as being a year that you rolled from one excitement to the next event to things that were going on that kept you excited about it all year long.
You set the all-time FLW weight record.
You did that.
That was new. You had the Alabama. That's what I wrote these things down yesterday while you were doing it. You had the all-time FLW weight record. You had the most revolutionary bait that made the biggest splash since anything with the Alabama rig.
The chatterbait.
And add that so to the mix too.
That's so new. You had this conversation United that because it's happening right now. You discredited the Alabama rig when Mark brought it up as being a huge event because it's just now happening. But now it falls into your argument that this is a great year. I don't know.
No. I didn't say that. I said that that I would have problem qualifying Paul Elias for Man of the Year just based on him using that. I didn't say anything that the rig wasn't noteworthy.
But
that's
you were
what
talking about it because it happened
was.
right now. That was I think when we listened to the playback, it was you said
for that Man of the Year.
Happened right now.
We're discussing Man of the Year, not important things that happened throughout the year. For a Man of the Year, I don't think that Elias qualified because of that. He might have done in some people's mind, but not in mine. But as far as a revolution in the sport causing it's. Have you seen and remember anything in the past 10 years since you've been covering this sport?
Chatterbait was the one before this.
No, there's no way that the chatterbait was as big as the Alabama.
It was actually bigger, I think, at the time. I think it
at the time. Yeah.
At the time, I think it was actually because you could not find one. You could not get.
There was no controversy around it like there is the Alabama. That adds a whole mystique about you didn't have. Is it legal? Can I use it? Can I not use it? I think it should be banned. All this. You didn't have any petitions that said ban the chatterbait or anything like that. There's a different mystique around this bait that we've never seen, or that at least I haven't ever seen before, or know anybody who has seen anything like it, just from all the different angles that you can talk about this one rig. So that makes this year unique. And then throw in the record catch from McMillan that no one remembers because it was back in January with, 105 pounds. That doesn't happen. How many records? There's one. That Elias had it in 2008 on Falcon, and now you've got McMillan who set it in FLW over the century. There's two huge things that you don't get a chance to be a part of every year.
Yeah.
And then you're saying it's boring. I'm just saying, what do you want to happen in 2012 that's more exciting than that? That's less boring. What would have happened that would have made it not a boring year?
What did you have the year before that? You had the battle between Skeet and Kevin on the elite side. Back and forth. You had the same thing the year before, and then all of a sudden throw in the Edwin Evers factor. So there was quite the buzz there. You can even go back to the very first year season of the Elite Series. Granted, the first year always creates a buzz, but there was all kinds of stuff that took place that first year that you can remember right now.
There was tons of buzz this year. The All-Star Week, the brand new concept. They brought those guys. You had the fan vote. Was that not an exciting deal? For the first time ever, you have the top 8, and then you get 4 people brought in from the fans. They go compete for it.
Hey, I just think that we both are saying it was beige. There wasn't a whole lot of flash. It was just beige. We're not saying that it was a bad year. We're just saying it was beige, right, Drew?
Exactly.
That's it. There was just nothing that just knocked me off my chair that thought, wow, what a year. It was more like, yeah, it was a good year.
It's a good year. I mean, I'm not saying it was a bad. I'm just saying it was like you said, it's a good year.
Say it was above average year.
It wasn't a poor year.
Your purple were beige, all right?
Yeah,
Let's leave it at that.
It was in a poor year. So I think 2012, I mean, again, and I bring it back to the fact that we were sitting here a year ago talking about all the new ownership, everything and how exciting this was, and all the optimism going into this year. And now we're at the end of it, and maybe it didn't live up to the hype. Maybe it was a good year, it just didn't live up to the hype that was set. The expectations.
I will agree. We had a clock. Remember we talked about putting a clock on the wall, countdown to judgment. Oh, there'd be about, 10 days left in it right now.
Exactly.
And I don't know if you'd want to see that show.
No, not right now.
You might want to add about it another 300 days on there.
I think Mark's going to reach up and reset it. Right?
I mean, we'd be regretting our decision if we had to do our Judgment Day review that we put in a year ago.
All right, we're coming back with a guy that's definitely not beige. He is all red, talking about Boyd Duckett. Everybody stay tuned. We'll be right back.
The most versatile fishing machine on Earth. Unparalleled resolution and clarity, with more agility, lightning speed, and brute strength. HDS Carbon takes rapid response performance and screen technology to an all-new level. Maximized power, maximized visibility. See Structure Scan 3D, new dual chirp sonar, new live network sonar, and more mapping options, all at the same time and faster than ever before. Pros depend on hydraulic jack plates to get the best out of their boats. Do what they do. Demand Atlas performance. Atlas gets you from the bottom to the top in less than 8 seconds, even with the big 4 strokes. And when you gotta turn right around and get that heavy load back up in rough water, Atlas's innovative design and American-made components will get you there with confidence.
I'm at Depot. Just look for yourself. There's an Atlas jack plate on just about every professional's boat.
The Atlas hydraulic jack plate. You can depend on it.
My rods look different because they are different. Every rod is built by the pros and for the pros. When you pick up a Boyd Duckett fishing rod, you're getting a cutting-edge rod, one that's truly pro-driven with the actions you need for every bait category you fish. I put my name on it. It's my promise to build you a great rod you can count on.
Duckett Fishing, Micro Magic, Macro Magic, or White Ice.
Try them. They work.
Fishing just got easier, and it didn't cost you a thing. Free feature upgrades from Lowrance. Fish Reveal delivers the best of chirp sonar and downscan imaging, all on one screen, and it's going to help you find more fish. High visibility color sonar take high contrast imaging to a whole new level. It delivers the absolute best views of structure. Fish like to hide there, but their hiding days are over. These features are ready to roll when you are. Just upgrade your HDS Carbon software.
Hey guys, Russ Lane, Bassmaster Elite Series Pro. Man, I am so excited to be joining the AFCO Pro staff. They got some really cool, innovative products to help you have a more enjoyable, comfortable day while you're out there on the water. Really stylish, great functional clothing. You're gonna love it. The thing I'm most excited about though is AFCO has pledged to donate 10% of their total profits back to supporting the conservation of our fisheries. And I am all about supporting a company that's about supporting conservation so that we can enjoy our bass fishing for a long time. Check us out, AFCO.
Jacob Wheeler and Tommy Biffle have a lot in common.
Flat bill.
The perfect shape.
You gotta love some light tackle.
I know I have a spinning rod.
I love my hammer crawl.
Biffle bug.
Rigged
on a hardhead.
Well, they could be twins. Bifflebug, hammer crawl, hardhead, from Gene LaRue.
Let me help you, man.
Let me help that hat.
Whoa.
There you go. I already look better.
When I talk about Sunline, I think of one word, confidence.
Sunline FX2 is what I use for all of my frogging and flipping.
SX1 braid, which braid plays a big part in fishing line.
Shooter, I'm going to use in those close quarter deals like flipping and pitching.
One of my favorite techniques in fishing the tournament trail is to fish offshore ledges.
We have taken the questions out of the equation.
Take my word for it. It works. It works, dude.
And we're back. Mark Jeffries, Drew the True Smith, Matt the Nature Boy Pangrack. This is Bass Talk Live here on a Tuesday. And, man, we got some people out there, Drewster, that are saying that we're just off our rocker.
I'm so glad that there's only 10 days left in this mundane, boring, uneventful year. Thank God. 2011 is just a waste of a year.
That is not what we're saying,
to 2012. Maybe at least one interesting thing will happen next year, so you guys won't be so bored all the time.
I'm sure if the sun comes up on January 1st, you'll be like, holy shit, it's a great year. I mean, you haven't really set your standards real high. So
That
I'm
is
sure
not what we're saying. We're not saying it was a bad year. We're not saying that it wasn't a good year. We're just saying that there wasn't anything that took place over on the Elite Series of the FLW Tour that just stuck out and just got us absolutely fired up.
I would venture to believe that Boyd Duckett might be on my side on this one, and there's only one way to find out.
Yeah, but I got to get him queued up first. You're way ahead of me there, Nature Boy. Right. So we are going to go live to Boyd Duckett live via Skype here if I can get him queued up. Let's see here. Boyd, you there, man?
I am here.
How you doing? Now, I don't know if you've been watching the show so far today, but we're into this. Let's just call it a friendly disagreement about this year's Elite Series and FLW Tour. That it wasn't a bad year.
It's in competitive professional bass fishing. The year in pro bass fishing.
Yeah,
not just everything encompassed.
Me and Drew are saying that it was just kind of beige. Right? It wasn't bad, but there just wasn't anything that just, knocked me off my chair.
Well, yeah, I've got to agree with you on that, in the sense that it was sort of planned to be a big year, but because things take a long time, let me back up. It was a big year because a lot of great things happened. It takes more than 1 year for them to evolve. The purchase of Bass from ESPN with McInnes and company, Don Logan, Jim Copeland, overall, that is big news in the fishing business, and overall, that will have I believe, will have a big impact on BASS. So that's a big thing to happen. It's just not noticeable because these things take time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Yeah. And they've got some positive things going on over there. We had the Alabama rig come out. Huh? Come on, dude.
We totally agree with that. In fact, we're having this little deal tomorrow, the man of the year in the bass fishing world, and I'm going with Paul Elias because if Paul Elias doesn't win that event with the Alabama rig, we're not talking about it.
Yeah, I hear you. That was definitely a game changer.
I'm going with
a game changer. I do want to say this. I remember back when the chatterbait came out. Drew's right about that as well. The chatterbait was a big deal, buddy, when it first hit because it really did open up a new bait category. And I think I said this right after Paul won. This Alabama rig also has done that. That's the next lure that's really opened up a new category. It's a new way to fish legitimately. It's not a spinnerbait copy or a jig copy, or, it's a new deal. And those are big. Those are fun when that stuff hits. You better get one and learn how to fish it. They work, man.
We're seeing it already taking effect, on local lakes here, Boyd, and that some tournaments were won, I think, this past weekend, 20-plus pounds on a lake that doesn't normally put out that kind of weight this time of year. But, no, I agree with you in the fact that the time deal, when we've had this argument, when we were talking about it yesterday, if we had to vote right now, and I think that's why this conversation kind of evolved, is the fact that I'm not sure that there is a candidate for this Bass Man of the Year, or a news story, I guess, even if you could break that to that just runs away with it right now, and not to just kiss your butt because you're on the show with us, but the MLF and what you guys are doing, but it won't really be the effect in the accomplishments that you guys are making really won't take effect until it airs, until we see it, and that'll be 2012. And so, I mean, I agree with what Kevin's done, what Kevin did in winning the Classic and Angler of the Year in the same year again, and what Kevin continues to do on the tours is simply amazing. But he won the Classic. He did, he didn't, as far as setting this year apart, I don't know that I just don't know that this year, it's been a great year. It just hasn't been a year that, just like Mark said earlier, that just kind of rocked your socks in any one way.
Well, it certainly just wasn't as exciting as that 2007 Classic. I mean, does it get any better than that? Let's be honest here.
You broke the whole year down to 3.
On this one. He's right on the hammer. That's probably the best Classic ever.
Right. Let's see. That one right there will go down in infamy.
I like how Boyd, and everyone knows that you're a sound businessman. You start out, you agree and appease Drew the Truth and MJ over here. Then you back up and say, oh, well, Panger has a valid point. Then you change the topic, so you make both of us happy. You don't really give us your true opinion, and you divert the heat onto another topic. Very impressed.
Well, that in itself is worth the price of admission for the show, don't you think?
I mean, come on. Hey, very interesting comment on the instant feedback. Dennis from Illinois says, you should make the weekend angler the man of the year, because those are the guys that are making it happen on the weekend end. And, the pros, they go out, they make it happen. But these are the guys that are being influenced by what Boyd and everybody else out on tour does. Make them the man of the year.
I like that idea.
It's not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea. Let me tell you something that's legitimate for the weekend angler. And I will say this, and I have noticed this over the last 5 years, greater than my entire time in tournament fishing, which goes back to 1977. Remember, Matt, back then, how we used to do it?
Do I? What?
You remember, Matt, how we used to catch them in 77?
Anywhere between 77 and 84, I don't want to know how anybody did it.
Hey, listen, I will say this. The last 5 years at the local tournament level, the weekend series guys, the BFL guys, the club level guys, the local opens on your lakes and mine, the level of competition has grown noticeably. The talent level of those local guys. I still fish around here some when I can, and the guys here in Alabama catch them. They catch them better than they used to. In the 90s, I had a partner, and we won lots of tournaments around Alabama. There were always good fishermen here, but I don't know that if they were as good as they are now. So maybe there is a lot to say. I don't know that the pro level and our ability to catch fish, they're catching us. These local guys can catch them, and that is a difference.
I agree with you. I think whether it's, I think there's more quality anglers than there were. I think before in the tournament circuit, you always had 20 to 25% that were basically donators. I mean, they weren't even, they were just, they probably wouldn't even catch a fish. Then you
50%.
had 50%, but then you would have another 25% that, they may get lucky one time, or they may have one good day, but then you had the top 10% of tournament guys that were there all the time, the same guys in the top 10, top 15, something like that. I think now you've got maybe it's 20%. I think there's more quality guys that can be in contention every week on the local level. And I mean, it's got to be the internet. It's got to be the way that some of the stuff that what you guys do is broadcast out there. A lot of things have been shared more. There's a more, I think a better access to knowledge than just word of mouth than like there used to be. I don't know if it's a combination of all that or if it's been, we see, I think, guys getting serious about this at a younger age too, with the college deal and high school stuff and kids that are 16, 17, 18 years old spending a lot more time on the water than I think they did probably 15 years ago.
Yep, I got to agree with you. They're starting a lot younger. These young guys can catch them, and it's got to be that. I learned when I was a teenager, I learned it all through trial and error. I didn't have a lot available to me other than Bassmaster Magazine. We didn't have internet. You couldn't get information out of the other guys. Nobody shared anything with you, and it's a more sharing world, it seems like today. But you're right, there's a lot. These guys are good. They're at 25 years old. The level of the average tournament angler at 25 now at a local lake is way ahead of where I was at age 25, I promise you.
Yep. All right, Boyd, big announcement yesterday, MLF, the press release that came out about Geico. Is there anything you can elaborate on that?
Well, I can say that this has been a huge year for bass fishing. But unfortunately, most of it's been behind the scenes. What we've been able to accomplish in 2011 with the creation of Major League Fishing, with the partnership that we put together with the Outdoor Channel and Wintercom, and with the focus and all the energy pushing in the same direction, we've been able to attract some major sponsors. They're not the end of it. We've got Bass Pro, which is a powerhouse in this industry. We have Geico, and we have several others that'll impress you that will be signing on for us in 12. You'll see this information come over the next several weeks. We have a very impressive lineup of major non-endemic sponsors, which is what we really wanted to get involved in, that believe in this new product, and they believe that we can reach an expanded television audience that we haven't had in the past, which is the whole purpose behind getting involved in this. And so, yes, you won't see any of that fruit from the tree until 2012, but 11's been a huge year in bass fishing from that perspective.
Boy, we talked with Gary yesterday, and I know that a lot of this stuff that will never be known to the public as far as what these sponsors mean and how much they're putting in and stuff like that. But tell us a little bit about how much confidence, or how much, I don't know if confidence is the right word, but the fact that these guys like Geico, like Bass Pro Shops, like Golden Corral, some of these guys that have got involved with you, I mean, is that showing you what a great job you're doing and how successful this can be? Did I leave him? Or I just,
he didn't like it.
I didn't like it. I don't blame him. It was a long-winded question.
No, you're back. Okay, go ahead, Boyd.
I lost you. What was the end of the question, Drew?
I'm just, like I said, with everything everybody that has jumped on board with you guys, is it kind of, I'm not said confidence, but confidence isn't the right word, but is it just kind of showing you that you are on the right track and you are putting out a product that a lot of people think is going to be really successful?
I have to believe that. I believe that certainly our goals, which are purely, television oriented, to try to create a product, basically we're still on the same original mission. We want to create a television product that's interesting enough and is sports-like enough that we can gain a non-fishing audience. I mean, that's like reaching for the stars, but make no mistake, those that know me know I'm not afraid to put a goal out there and stay at it from a dogged perspective. And we will make the adjustments that are necessary until we have created a great television product. And what that'll do is that will grow the entire sport of bass fishing. That will make more people aware of what we're doing, make them aware of our sport. That's one of the reasons why we were so careful in our choice of format. We want to be as format friendly. It's like weighing the fish in the boat and releasing them and not having the old traditional weigh-ins and the environmental impact that bass tournaments can potentially have. Or in all honesty, really what it is, it's the impact that is assumed. It's the perceived impact of the tournament weigh-in. So FLW and Bass, they really do a great job at taking care of those fish, but that perception doesn't make it to everybody. So, weighing them, turning them loose. I mean, we want to start to set the bar on a lot of the right things to do in this sport, moving forward as more people and more participants get into bass fishing.
Hey, Boyd, you and Gary had a chance to actually view, I guess for the first time, some of the semi-edited footage from the Major League Fishing event down at Amistad, and had a chance to spend hours in front of it and go through it and get your input. Just kind of a gut reaction, since you guys were the two who kind of had this in your heads. Was it everything you'd hoped it would be, and are you even more excited about it on February 6th now, when the pay-per-view will be released?
Well, let me kind of tell you what has happened over the last week or so. To answer your question directly, it is because I've had this dream and this vision for so long. It is very much what I expected. We did realize that we had an opportunity with pay-per-view to do something different than we're going to do on the television program. So I think what you're going to find is this pay-per-view product is edited and was intended to be different from the television product. And one of the giant benefits is we can cover more about how these pros, with no practice and no help and no information, how they had to go find the fish. That's we've talked about that. That's the key element in tournament fishing, is your ability to find them quickly. And we've tried to capture as much of that, which has never been sold, never been on a video, pros don't give it away. And we've tried to take as much of that and put that into the pay-per-view. And for tournament guys, and that is so valuable. I mean, it's the most interesting thing you've ever seen. So that's more about what the pay-per-view's been created for. And then the television product will be purely the entertainment of the sport, showing the competition, the emotion, and the characters, same as the NFL. And that's our television product. And so I guess last week, Matt, we discovered that we really can't make them one and the same, and they will be two very different products.
Cool. Boyd, when you kind of went through that scenario and deciding what kind of product out there, I mean, I know it's difficult to try to bring a new concept to an industry that's been around as long as we have and been around and doing the same type of deal. I mean, although we've seen advancements in the coverage of bass tournaments, I mean, it's been typically, you get a few shots off the water and the weigh-in is your main attraction. Did you find any resistance from the people that were supporting you and helping you and trying to say, hey, we need to do this a different way?
That's one of the reasons why we picked the partnership that we did with Outdoor Channel and Wintercom, is because Wintercom has a lot of sports production experience, and they were very open-minded. And to be honest with you, they loved the idea. They really weren't interested in filming another bass show, and they weren't interested in getting involved in a tournament series, which is not really what we're about. We're about creating a tournament level, a made-for-television tournament format that can be fun and exciting. And so all of us, all the guys back at Wintercom, the guys at Outdoor Channel, and of course the anglers, that we're just having a blast because the creative juices are flowing. It's coming from everybody, Mike McClellan and Denny Brower and Dean Rojas and.
No. This happens every now and then.
Perfect.
All right.
Did I break out? Did I lose you?
Yeah, you're okay. Keep going.
Yeah, we're good.
Am I good? So, we had a chance for all these people that, to get together, and everybody has a lot of momentum. And I think that energy and that desire to be successful is rubbing off on these sponsors. And, like the Geico people, who they're a very aggressive company. They're interested. They've been in power sports. Obviously they're perfect for us. They sell boat insurance and good boat insurance, and they want to get bigger in it. But they have been drawn in by this excitement, and they're going, hey, these guys are going places. We believe in them and themselves, as well as some of these other major sponsors you'll hear about shortly. Everybody wants to be part of this action because, the train's moving and it's got a lot of momentum, guys. It's exciting.
All right, Boyd, we only have a few more minutes here, but I do want to remind everybody that this is the Boyd Duckett comeback tour in 2012, correct? Now, what have you done right now, all right, say the last week and a half, to get Boyd Duckett back to where he needs to be when 2012 rolls around? Are you working on it?
I am working on it. In fact, I had a long conversation with my brother about it because he's kind of pushing me. He said, I've been reading your Duckett exchange on the Bass Zone, and you're making all these promises of a comeback. What are you doing?
Yeah.
You better not just say this and suck again next year. But let me tell you, I started with the basics because I want to build my entire, for me, it's all about building confidence. And that's easy to say and hard to do. So what am I doing to build that confidence? I've gone back to the basics of what has helped me in the past. So I'm beginning with my organizational skills, which over the last year or two, I've really let go. I didn't think that'd matter to me much. I've been working in my tackle room, completely throwing out all the junk. The stuff that I use on a regular basis is at the tip of my fingers. I'm completely reorganizing my boat. And let me tell you, I would recommend that to anybody, because until you take every item in your boat and lay it on the deck, you don't realize how much junk's in the way. Let's cut her down to, next season, I'm going to pitch a chigger crawl. I'm going to throw a rattle trap. I'm going to use these things that I have always been able to get there with. And forget about a lot of this other stuff, and I want it to be organized, neat, same way with my truck. So that's what I'm in the middle of right now. And let me tell you what that does for you. Other than just organizing, it's building confidence. When I spend a night, 4 or 5 hours in my tackle room or in my boat, man, I feel stronger as a pro at the end of that time period. I feel more organized, just like I'm getting ready for a business meeting and I'm well prepared. So that's what I'm in the process of doing now, as well as researching these lakes we're going to next season.
All right. Well, we will be following the progression of the Boyd Duckett comeback tour right here on BTL and on BassZone.com. So I don't think we are taking next week off, so we will not talk to you prior to the national championship game. So good luck to the Crimson Tide. You guys are definitely going down, so that's about all I'm going to say about that. But we want to. Yeah, I know. Yeah, keep going. All right.
Roll Tide, baby.
Want to wish you and your family a very festive holiday and a safe New Year's and New Year's Eve. And we will talk to you the first week of January, Boyd.
Yep. Happy holidays to all of you, and a big thanks out to the Bass Zone viewers that take time to watch this. I sure appreciate that.
All right, cool stuff. All right, Boyd, Merry Christmas. We will speak to you here in a couple of weeks, man. Take care.
All right, thanks. See you guys.
See you, Boyd.
All right, there you have it. Boyd Duckett, and he's got a lot of tackle to go through, Drew.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. But he makes a good point about being organized and the confidence it brings to you. I think with one of the things that we get to see maybe more than most folks is the behind the scenes stuff. When somebody pops the lid on a storage unit or on their boat or their rod box or whatever, we see how organized they are and everything that are fingertips
organized.
But you see some of these guys that are continually successful, seasons in and out. They have things at their fingertips and they do have their confidence mate tied on and stuff like that. So I think he may be. I think he's got so much stuff going on. It's going to be hard for him to concentrate solely on fishing, which I think you have to. But if anybody can do it, he can burn both ends of the candle.
No doubt. All right, we're going to come back, wrap things up here on a Tuesday. Everybody stay tuned.